over 6 months ago, when I took the Spanish Deli C2 exam, I proposed myself that when I passed the test, I would learn Russian because I thought it would be so cool to learn 3 different languages of 3 completely different branches. If I had just learned French or Japanese after, then people always could have said that I only got good at that language fast because of my previous experience with either Spanish or Mandarin. But I thought Russian was going to be so cool in that regard because it would have been completely independent in my learning, if you know what I mean. Now, as you know, I clearly did not pass the Spanish Deli C2 exam and did not immediately start learning Russian in last summer. But I think that was actually a blessing in disguise, given the events that have been happening in the past 6 months. So a couple months ago, I saw a Real Life Lore video. Real Life Lore is a very popular YouTube channel, and he was going over, North Korea. And the video was going over the amount of, I think they call it defectors, the amount of people who try to escape North Korea. That number has gone down a lot in the past couple of years. And I found that video very interesting. Given, I mean, it's North Korea. I mean, it's just North Korea. Another thing that happened to me within the past 6 months is that I listen to a podcast called Through the Web. I love this podcast, especially the only podcast I listen to in English. And the main, one of the hosts was talking about his trip to South Korea, talking about the language and the culture and things like that. So that kind of got me, it planted the seed in my head of what Korea was like. Let's see what else. Oh, so sometimes I watch random YouTube videos. And when I say random, I mean, there's this website where you can generate a random YouTube video for you. And there's this very famous video, actually. You might have seen it. In 5 minutes, there's this guy who explains how to pronounce the Korean writing system, Hangul or whatever, very efficiently. He explains it all in just 5 minutes. The video probably has like 20 million views by now. And that got me thinking about Korean a little bit more. And let's see what else. Yes. So I don't know where I saw this exactly, but I learned that Samsung takes up something like a third of South Korea's entire GDP. You know, I'm interested in economics and that sort of thing. So that really it got me interested in the country. So as stupid as it sounds, as silly it may sound, this language is calling out to me. I can't believe I actually said that. It sounds dumb, but that's really what it feels like. So that's why I decided to learn this language. Forgive me, I'm reading off of a list of bullet points here. So I've actually been set on learning Korean ever since like mid-November 2023. But the reason that I'm waiting until now, which is January 1st, 2024, is because I was kind of doing some mental preparation for how many hours of my life I'm going to have to spend to get good at this language. And I was also looking at some, I guess, resources for learning this language. Because if you think about the languages that I've learned so far, the previous 2, for Spanish, I didn't choose Spanish in the sense that it was a high school class. So I don't know if it was my parents that chose it, or maybe I absent-mindedly chose it. But it was just happened to be a language that I got good at. But I didn't choose it, if you know what I mean. And let's see. So yes, I started in school and I didn't choose it. Now Mandarin, I started in college. I took 2 semesters in college Mandarin, and I did choose that language. Now, it being Mandarin, it's very arbitrary. My second language that I learned really could have been French or Italian, Russian, German, whatever. I just chose Mandarin because it just sounded like a cool language, and I wanted to challenge myself. It was completely arbitrary though, but I did choose it. And now for Korean, this one is different than the previous 2 in the sense that I'm not learning it in school, or at least I didn't start learning it in school, but I am choosing it. So I guess all 3 languages are slightly different in their own way. So this is how Korean is unique. So since I'm not starting it, whoops, that just peaked probably. Since I'm not starting learning Korean in school, you have to ask yourself, what resources am I going to be using? And the truth is, up until 2 days ago, I really had no idea. I was looking at, I think on Reddit, r/Korean or like beginner Korean, there's this massive page of paid and free resources. So I was going through there, and I happened to find this textbook of this right here. Unfortunately, I can't pronounce this. I should know how to pronounce this in a couple days. This is the textbook. I happened to find this online. It was free, but I wouldn't say maybe it's not pirating. Is it pirating? I don't know. Anyway, the reason why I chose this textbook is because, first of all, I wanted something that was like a textbook. I wanted something where I could go at my own pace. But I also wanted something with audio. I know listening is so important these days. So I wanted a reading component and an audio component. So the reason why I actually like this textbook, or at least I think I like it, is because there's exercises with audio. So they have these links in here where you can, it links to a SoundCloud, and you can play that, and it's kind of goes with the textbook. So I really like that, how it's not just completely text. There is an audio component to it. So this textbook is very random. It's totally possible that in a week I'll ditch this one and start with another random textbook. But this is what I'm going to be going with so far. I have no idea whether it's good or not, whether if this is like the actual good resource. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So I've actually already set up. That's playing in the background. Hopefully, yeah, my desktop audio wasn't actually playing, so hopefully you didn't hear that. So I've actually set up my, of course I have my language learning tracker for all languages that I do. And for Korean, I've already set it up where I've added an additional column. And now for Korean, I'm very excited about this because it's the only language where I actually know the exact number of hours that I put into the language. For Spanish and Mandarin, I didn't start tracking my time until summer of 2022. So you'll see at the very top, I just put in a massive amount of hours in, but this is all napkin math for how much Spanish I think I did from fall 2017 until summer 2022. Same thing for Mandarin, it's just napkin math. I'm not going to change it now, but at least the number becomes more accurate as time goes along. Now for Korean though, I actually do know the exact number of hours, and I find that pretty cool. So yeah, the Google Sheet is all ready. Now I didn't want to talk about only Korean in this video. I want to talk about first of all, let's talk about Spanish. So part of the reason that I started learning Korean, or that I was even getting interested in learning a new language, is because understanding Spanish at this point is kind of boring in the sense that I have content that I like consuming in Spanish. There's YouTube channels that I like watching. And when I just listen to those YouTube channels, I get more educated, I become more informed, but it's not like it doesn't feel like I'm really learning new words. I guess that's to say that the content that I like watching, or the content that I like consuming, doesn't have that many new words, but the content I don't like consuming has new words. So like the book, Cien Años de Soledad, I really do not like that book in terms of its genre. I didn't choose it because of its story. I only chose it because of, supposedly it has, my light just flickered, sorry. Supposedly that book has a lot of advanced words. That's the primary reason why I chose that book, but I don't actually enjoy reading it. There's also this other website called, I think it's called Un Libro al Día, something like that in Spanish. I'll put the link on screen, but it's just a book review website. But I found that the language that they use is very advanced, and I find new words in there. But who likes reading book reviews? I don't like reading that content. So the content that I like watching, the content that I like consuming has new words. Content that I don't like consuming, sorry, I messed up there. The content that I like consuming does not have a lot of new words. The content that I do not like consuming has a lot of new words. So that's where I'm at with Spanish. And I'm actually finding that a very entertaining part about Spanish now isn't necessarily whether I understand what I'm consuming. It's the idea of, would I have said this phrase or this word by myself? So understanding it isn't even enough. I have to really ask myself, would I have said it on my own? And kind of what I'm doing now is looking at a news article or a YouTube video. I can understand basically all of it, but I'm looking for, I guess, a word or a phrase that I wouldn't have said on my own. And I say that either out loud when I summarize it, or I type it when I'm giving a journal for a summary, a written journal on the summary of that video. So that's where I am with Spanish. I will eventually pass the Delhi C2 exam, I promise, but it's going to be like probably 6 more months, anywhere from 6 more months to a year, something like that. Now for Mandarin, I'm kind of realized that I've been stagnating a lot with this language. Let's see, December 1st, 2023, that's when I posted a video stating that I had suspended all of my Mandarin vocabulary Anki cards, also the idiom cards I suspended. And that was just kind of like, the fact that I had to post that video was the final straw. It just showed that I was stagnating a lot with this language, and I just needed to consume more content, not really focusing on how many flashcards I can do a day, but just actually consuming content. Like, it's so funny how I got basic fluency in Spanish in 2.5 years just by watching TV shows and listening to podcasts, looking up words on the spot. Yet for Mandarin, I try to reinvent the wheel. So from now on, I'm not doing any more Mandarin vocabulary cards. Let's see here. And in fact, I have to open up Anki. If you look at my Mandarin, my Mandarin deck, it's just sentences now. So the only thing for Mandarin I'm doing is the audio sentence cards that I create sometimes. Sometimes I create audio sentence cards, and that's all I do for Mandarin now. Otherwise, it's just consuming content and looking up words on the spot. So that's everything I want to talk about. I'm very excited for learning this new language, Korean, of course. I don't know. I guess, something that I didn't talk about is that in terms of the culture of Korean, or for South Korea, even though I haven't experienced any of the culture, I can kind of get a feel for what it's like because I know it's related with Confucian values, kind of like the idea of putting your head down and working for 16 hours a day. I know China has a pretty brutal work culture. I think Korea has that as well. So even though I haven't really learned any of Korean culture, I think I kind of know what it's like. I guess there's goods and bads of everything. I know that a lot of people, when they start learning Japanese, they think that Japan is some utopia, but then they learn more, go to the country, and realize it's not a utopia. So I know that there's a lot of bad with Korea. I don't know if I'll get demonetized for this, but I know it has, I believe, the highest suicide rate in the entire world. So there's a lot of bad with that country. So I know it's not a utopia. So at least I've gotten that out of the way, and at least I don't know it's a utopia. And I guess a reason that I am learning Korean, it has nothing to do with K-pop. I don't think I've ever watched a K-pop video or listened to any K-pop. The reason that I've started learning Korean has nothing to do with K-pop. So I think that's everything I wanted to say in this video. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you liked it. Dislike the video. Actually, you can't even see dislikes anymore. Comment the video if I don't know what you should comment. I never know what to say for these parts. Expect more videos for how my Korean is going. I'll surely upload lots more videos documenting my Korean progress. Thanks for watching.